Now, we mentioned this on the show last night because it was breaking, but we've had a day for it to sink in. The brand new nickname, by the way, for Adam Bandt is going to be Zoolander, because forget blue steel, green steel is apparently the future here, where the Greens leader is about to tour Australia's mining regions to promote his plan to create renewable mining and manufacturing sector.
Renewable mining.
There you go. And repair the party's poor relations with the resources sector workers. Now, there is so much spin in this, Jenna, so much spin in this that to even start to pull it apart might end up tearing a finger off. But let's start to peel away the bullshit onion here, because fair dinkum, green steel?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what his reception's like down on St George's Terrace here in Perth, which, you know, I know that Sydney have got Millionaires Row down in Point Piper, but every single resources company has their head office based here pretty much. So him popping into Woodside and Rio and saying hi, and then offering deals on how to, and basically him trying to pitch how to do renewables when these people have been dealing in that area in research and development for at least 10 years, it's going to be pretty interesting. And I'd love to be a fly on the wall when old mate Blue Steel walks in there, because I don't think his reception is going to be an overly warm one.
Well, I mean, also, yeah, he's not exactly going to march right up to the workers and the high-vis. It'll be, you know, he'll go into a very specific company on the absolute fringes of town to try to pretend, oh, well, I've been there. Richo, look.
Mate, this bloke's a goose.
He is a goose.
I've struck few people as bad as this bloke. I think he's a total goose, a total fool. I'm not interested in where he goes, who he does, or who he speaks to. This bloke is an idiot. Card-carrying idiot.
Do you think that he has learnt the lesson from the caravan of no courage, that, all right, rather than going and confronting, I'm going to go and try and find the edges, and I'll pick one off here and one off there, and somehow we're all together in the Green New Deal?
Well, there's three things I think are important here to understand what he's talking about. First of all, when you're talking about renewable steel or green steel, you are simply talking about second-hand steel that gets melted down and reused. And arguably, you can use renewable energies, wind and solar, to do that. Arguably, it depends. But creating steel from scratch, you have to have coal. So what he's talking about is somehow doing some small market of basically, second-hand steel and melting it down and discarding, getting rid of our $65 billion coal industry and coal smelting. You can only use coal to do that job. So that's the first thing. He's just talking about dicking around at the edges with steel. He's also talking about lithium. Now here he's talking about a product that is used in windmills and used in car batteries and is an important element of so-called battery storage. But the lithium market in Australia has crashed. The shares have gone down 50% in the last few years. There's oversupply around the world in lithium. So, yeah, great, of course we should be mining it, but in fact, if you look at our market, it's going down, not up. So the third thing you'd have to say is, what's he really talking about here, Paul? He's a Marxist, okay? He studied Marxism at university. He's a Marxist. The Greens are all about the government ownership of the means of production. That's what they want. So what he's talking about is the government now wandering in and saying, oh, well, let's have a lithium mine here because lithium's the way of the future. Let's shut down all those coal things, that $65 billion industry, and replace it with something which is a fraction of the value, 1/50th of the value of the coal industry, and the government will own that, and then it'll look all good. So it's virtue signalling, it's ridiculous economics, it's Marxism, and it won't work.
But it's just
apart from that, it's got some merit.